Let's see. Okay, I think we're up and going. Yeah, I think we're good. Welcome to the Superior Stream episode 5. This is actually a re-upload, a re-attempt, if you will. Um, Originally I had did a show last week, but I was not, I did not, the quality was not up to par. So I scrapped it, tossed it in the bin, and now I have a superior stream, I hope. Uh, Looking at my bandwidth, everything seems to be, it's looking a lot better than it did last time. And I'm using a different microphone, so it should go a bit better, I think. But I got a couple of questions to answer probably, and a few things to go over before I get in too deep here. First off, what happened to the show? Pretty much for the whole month of May, I was off taking care of business, going to a wedding, which was fun, a bachelor party as well as a family reunion. Uh, Let's see, which to start off with. Like I said, I think I touched on the bachelor party in the previous stream, so I'll go ahead and touch on the wedding. The wedding was a blast. There was food, dancing, uh, and all manner of folk. It was a fun time to be had, to be sure. Let's see. Okay, my bandwidth just dropped out there for a second, which I'm used to. I think I may have an issue with my internet, which I'll touch on that probably at some point later. But all right, there was cake. Like it was a typical kind of wedding affair. Of course, I wouldn't say completely typical. My friend, my best man. Well, I wasn't his best man, but he's probably my best man. Was getting married. Uh, there was I said dancing. It was a good time. Uh, and the family reunion of sorts on my end, which happened kind of in between and around the wedding and the bachelor party that I mentioned before. That was basically just me meeting the folks and extended relatives and just having a good time there, all over the middle and eastern part of Tennessee. But I can't subsist on vacations alone, so I eventually did have to go back to uh, my spot here in southern Texas. So I got back on the road again. Um, on the road, I didn't have too much to do, much the same way that when I was driving up to Tennessee. Uh, what kept me going was audiobooks. A number of audiobooks, which I'll review in depth maybe on my next show. But for now, suffice to say, if you're on a road trip, audiobooks are really neato. Particularly books from Michael Crichton. Yeah, if you're into sci-fi stuff anyway. Um, no, but another thing that kept me going on the road was my extended family, uh, notably my aunt and friends of the family, and so on down the line. Of course, if you're listening to this stream, you know who you are. But no, friends, family, audiobooks. Uh, but on my way down though, on my way down back home, I had to go through a rather vicious patch of weather, and I mean really vicious. Um, actually managed to hydroplane my car at one point, which I've not done in some time. And if you've not hydroplaned before, basically think about it like you're driving straight, and then suddenly your car will just immediately like to the left or the right. It'll just it'll junt. The best way I can kind of describe it would be an F-Zero X. When you double tap R or Z, it'll make your race your anti-gravity race vehicle to quickly shift left or right. Well, it was like that, except I had absolutely no control over it, and I couldn't see out of my front wheel windshield for more than probably, I'd say, 20 feet. There was zero visibility on the road. Adding to this, I was seeing big flashing signs saying that the interstate had flooded. So I'm worried that I'm eventually going to drive into some black pit of water that I can't even see. But somehow, some way, I managed to escape more or less unscathed and made my way back down to southern Texas. But yeah, it was a ridiculous drive down. But for tonight's stream, I'm going to talk about a lot of movies, what I think about them, and to kind of draw things out a bit, I'll talk about what I would have done in those respective movies, or what kind of place I might have been in. Uh, One of the first movies is Avengers: Age of Ultron, uh, and the best way I can kind of describe this movie, if you've not seen it, it's basically it's satisfactory. If you've seen the original Avengers, which was by all means a great movie to be sure, then you had a very high watermark to hit with Avengers: Age of Ultron. I don't think any movie could really come or do as great as the original did in this regard to what the original Avengers did. But I think the sequel it did really good for what it should have did, if that makes any sense. There's a couple different points in the movie. There's the twins, which I've read a few folks on the internet didn't particularly like because they just were kind of plopped into the story. But I didn't really have that much problem with them, apart from the fact I don't know, I didn't quite understand the Scarlet Witch, which I think that was the lady person who was like shooting red fireball plasma mists. I think that was supposed to be the Scarlet Witch. She was decent, and her brother, which was very akin to Quicksilver. I think he may have been Quicksilver, I'm not sure. But as I understand, I thought he was property of the X-Men, which Warner Brothers owns. So I didn't think they would be able to pull Quicksilver, but I'm not sure. I'd have to read up on the legalese of that particular subject. Ultron made for a decent villain, if not somewhat shallow. The whole I'm going to destroy the world because it'll be better for humanity in some kind of oblong sense of logic. I don't know. It like I said, he fulfilled his role as being the big bad, I guess, well enough. Uh, and I guess it was kind of funny that they poked fun at him being kind of like based on Tony Stark, so his mannerisms and the way he talked were reminiscent of Tony Stark. So it was interesting listening to them go at each other. Cause it was like Stark talking to Stark, which I thought was rather amusing. The final scenes in the movie were pretty intense. And I don't want to spoil too much, but suffice it to say, they're fighting on a giant floating city, and there's robots everywhere, and things explode. You know, your typical Marvel movie fare. And one of the things I was kind of curious about, and like I said, this is kind of spoiled a little bit, so if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and just ignore this bit. But uh, at one point, they're evacuating people from this floating island that is eventually going to fall and kill the entire planet. And the whole premise was, okay, we have to evacuate all these people, or else they're all going to die. And for me, there was a bit of disbelief on my part. Is like, how do they know they got every single person? I mean, surely somebody died in this mishmash. And of course, it's a Disney property, so they can't show anything too completely violent, or I guess allude to the fact that there's going to be a lot of people dying in this scenario. So I guess all the people that did die, uh, Quicksilver, um, like I guess they weren't shown on camera. But let's see, what else do I have? Um, but overall, I liked Age of Ultron. It was a good movie. It was not something that I was disappointed by. But what's next on the docket here? I also saw Mad Max Fury Road, and wow, what a movie! Um, the best way I could describe would be non-stop action, just over the top action, back to back to back. And if you like action, definitely go see Mad Max Fury Road, because that movie has it in spades. But and of course, I'm just yelling action at you. But what kind of action? What's this action I'm talking about? Is it good? Is it worth watching? Uh, if you've listened to any behind the scenes uh, bits and bobs about the movie, you'll know they used a lot of actually real vehicles for the stunts. So when you see a vehicle tumble and crash and shatter into a bunch of pieces, that's a real physical metal object tumbling, rolling, and then crashing. And there may be some CGI explosions added in after the fact, but the actual vehicle itself did end up getting totaled, which I think is really cool because you've not seen that caliber really of practical effects for quite a while. But I say that, but I'm sure there's somebody who's big on the Fast and the Furious series will be like, "Nuh-uh, in Fast and the Furious they use real cars and stuff." But let's be honest, who watches the Fast and the Furious? I don't. But right, they use practical effects, like for fight scenes, car crashes, more car crashes, people fighting on tops of cars that eventually crash, and so forth. Um, what else about the movie? Uh, there was supposedly a bit of internet backlash because that it had kind of like a sort of twinge of feminist propaganda or feminist undertones because the main kind of heroine was Furiosa, and she was leading her band of brides that were property of some, what's his name, Immortal Joe. It's very interesting names, but she pretty much kind of this is the main kind of focus of the movie, and Mad Max he kind of is, I would have to say he's more of a co-star than the actual star, and it seems like they're putting his name more in the billing just to get people in the seats, so to speak. But now, not that I have really that much of a problem with it, because unless you're, I don't know, I didn't really feel like because he wasn't like on completely on focus 100% of the time that the movie was bad. I forget who played Furiosa. Let me pull her up real quick here. Second. I'll pull up the IMDb for us. Boop. Of course, the guy who played Mad Max was the same guy who did Bane in the Batman movies. Let's see. Where is she? Figured she'd be right up in the top bill. Here we go. Charlize Theron did Furiosa, and they did a good job with her fake missing limb, which of course she was wearing like a green sleeve, and they just kind of masks the robot arm over it. I don't know. Some people called it more cyborg-like. I thought I was supposed to be more of like a, I guess, steampunky arm, but however you want to look at it, it was a cool effect. I liked it. Um, let's see. And who else was that movie? the original guy from the original Road Rash. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, Huge Kia's Brian, which I did not know he was the original guy from the original uh, Road Rash. It's not the same character, but the same actor who played uh, the antagonist in the first Road Rash movie. There was also the Nux character. He was the war boy you followed, and the war boys, if you're not familiar with the movie, basically are the sons of Immortan Joe, and Immortan Joe basically has his harem of women who he just keeps on popping out babies, and Nux is one of these babies, I guess. And you basically follow his perspective as he chases down uh, Charlize Theron and her bunch along with Mad Max. Uh, and he gradually shifts from a bad guy to a good guy, and I don't know, it's he's he's good in his role. He brings some character to his character, uh, and him and all of his kin basically are like the bandits from Borderlands. If you ever played that game, they jump around cars. They're crazy, uh, kind of suicidal and homicidal all at the same time. So it's fun just to watch them get it, just torn up, ran over, blown up. They're the disposable red shirts of this movie, I would have to say. Is that if I were to place myself in this movie universe, uh, I would definitely be one of the poor, decrepit people at the bottom of Immortan Joe's tower. If you watch the movie, there's like there's his offspring, and then below his little tower, there's a whole bunch of poor, destitute, just raunchy people, like in the worst state that they can be in. I would be one of those people, I think, crawling through the sands, trying to scarf up maybe a little bit of water, some scraps of food here and there. I would not be the guy, behind the wheel of some turbo truck, blazing through the desert. I don't think that's that's where I would exist, and hopefully persist for a little while in this universe. Let's see. I also saw Jurassic World as of late. Uh, and it too was satisfactory. It met my specifications. It was a decent movie. Um, the only character they carried over from any of the previous Jurassic Park. Let me minimize this here. The only character they carried over from the previous Jurassic Park movies was Henry Wu, which is portrayed by. Let me pull this up now. We'll get another window up. Uh, uh, I think Henry Wu is played by a guy by the name of BD Wong, but let me make sure. I'll get his name up here in just a second, just to make sure. Pop that back up here. Oh, I was gonna pop it up here. There it is. All right, it should be up there. You're looking at a black screen. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Where is he? Yeah, BD Wong, right there. He plays Henry Wu. Let's see. Any other characters? Now that I've actually seen the movie, I can identify a couple of these guys because I wasn't sure beforehand who some of these folks were and how they were going to be portrayed in the movie. Chris Pratt, of course, plays the Raptor Whisperer, uh, and Bryce Dallas Howard is the, I guess, executive or it's the park owner for Jurassic World. Um, who is this guy? Irfan Khan. I'm trying to remember what. Okay, yeah, he played the. He's like the benefactor to uh, what's the name? The original Jurassic Park owner dude who, in the books, died, but in the movies did not die. Let me pull that up. The power of the internets. All right. Dr. John Hammond. Yes, the John Hammond character portrayed by Richard Attenborough. Uh, because okay, so I'll go back here, and the Simon Marasari character is kind of like he is like, I guess, like the benefactor behind Richard Hammond. Uh, or did I say Richard Hammond? I think that it's Mr. Hammond. So yeah. Um, yeah, but everyone did a decent job acting. It was satisfactory. I felt like they overplayed the Jurassic Park theme a bit. It seems like whenever they had a chance, they just blasted the Jurassic Park theme, which I which is okay, like I said, when it's needed. But if you just have that music going all the time, I think it takes away a bit from the majesty that music is trying to kind of conjure up. But enough about scruples here and there. What are some parts I liked? The kids were not nearly as annoying as I thought they were going to be. They were fairly annoying, somewhat cringy, but they were tolerable. At no point did I feel like I had to just completely look away from the screen in disgust. Um, there was one bit that they don't really like. They mention once but don't touch on for the rest of the movie. Because apparently their parents are getting a divorce, which I guess they could have cut that scene out entirely and it would have been the same movie. But like I said, I don't even have a problem with divorce or anything. It's just like I felt like that scene was forced. Like they had like the cutting room table, and I feel like we missed like a good scene where a giraffe, like a raptor, rips somebody's face off, and instead they put in this scene where the kid whines about a divorce. I mean, I, it's just a scene to take up space, I think, for some character building or some nonsense like that. But whatever. Um, the what is the name of the there's like a super T-Rex, like a T-Rex blended with a raptor. Idonosaurus, something. It's a ridiculous sounding name, but basically it's a souped up T-Rex. He breaks loose, runs all over the park, kills everybody. Well, it didn't kill. He kills a lot of dinosaurs. It doesn't actually kill that many people. It kills like one group of dudes, and what else does it kill? It kills a lot of other dinosaurs. And it tries to kill the kids, but the kids, of course, never die because they never die in these Jurassic Park movies. Um, anyway, yeah, the new T-Rex was serviceable. Um, I didn't particularly find it, that compelling of a dinosaur. I liked what they were trying to do, but I think they could have done maybe something better or added some kind of twist to make it more intelligent. But overall, again, just kind of satisfactory. And of course, everyone's looking at this movie and putting it in the lens of, well, how does it compare to the original Jurassic Park? Well, by that standard, of course, you're never going to compare to the original Jurassic Park because that movie is definitely the classic. So, really, I think a better way to scale it up, measure the movie's worth is how much better is it than Jurassic Park: The Lost World? And to that extent, I would say it's significantly better than that movie. So if you're looking for a movie with dinosaurs, um, definitely go see this movie because it delivers in that regard. Um, I'm trying to think of any other nitpicky bits I might have. Uh, da, da, da. Like I said, the Henry Rue character is the only returning character from the original Jurassic Park franchise. And like I said, they have a statue of Hammond in the building, but they never actually focus on it. They just kind of they leave it in the background for your imagination to kind of fill in the details. Um, I guess one of the one of the scenes I did like, and I think a lot of people in the theater probably liked, was the souped up T-Rex taking down the uh, the anti-dinosaur assault team. And you knew it was gonna happen because the Raptor Whisperer guy's like, "You gotta get him out of there. That thing's gonna tear him apart." And they're like, "Our guys are really trained. They know what they're doing." And almost like on cue, they all get torn to shreds by this no joke T-Rex. And it's it's funny because they have these little like life monitors on all the dudes. So as these anti-dinosaur guys are being wrecked, you see their life monitors like going like dead. Like a guy will get thrown against a tree and like splat, and you see his life monitor go dead. And another guy gets just completely stepped on, and another guy gets ate. And as they go, like they just gradually die. It was it was pretty good. Um, there's also I think this has been posted on Facebook at some point, but Martini guy. There's one point in the movie where these pterodactyls are swooping down and just literally picking people up and dropping them and like trying to peck their face out. And if you watch very closely, there's a guy who's like on a table, all right, and he has these. There's two drinks. He grabs both the drinks and runs with both the drinks. So everyone's dubbing this character Martini guy. Like this guy, he paid like a bunch of money for these drinks. He's not letting them go. He'll find a spot to drink them. So he just picks him up and he goes. So I had a kick out of that. Um, but yeah, Raptor Whisperer character Owen. You know, he did a good job with the Raptors. He was it was his job to carry the movie, and I think he did a pretty decent job in that respect. When the kids weren't on screen, and when Claire or Miss Bryce Dallas Howard wasn't on screen, uh, he did a good job of moving the plot forward. But like I said, the movie jumps around from different perspectives. So you'll see Owen and his crew. Then you'll jump to Claire talking to her dudes inside the control room. Then you jump to kids being kids. But gradually they all kind of converge into the main plot line, which I, don't know, I think that happens in pretty much all the Jurassic Park movies. But enough meandering about Jurassic Park. What do I have next? There's also there's also The Martian, which is not released yet, but it will be. The Martian with let me get that pulled up. Pulled up there. With Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Uh I saw the trailer. I'm pretty hyped. I've listened to the audiobook. Uh if you're not familiar with The Martian, I would highly suggest checking out the audiobook, which you can get for free on YouTube if you're a pirate. Yar. If you want to buy it or listen to it like I did, you can also get a free trial on audible.com. You listen to it that way. Or I said buy a physical copy, which you can find in just about, I would imagine, any kind of Barnes& and Noble or Books A Million or what have you. But yeah, basically an astronaut gets stranded on Mars. His crew thinks he's dead, and so does everyone else on Earth. So it's up to him to figure out a way to survive on Mars long enough for a rescue crew to make it to him. Uh, and like I said, the guy who's playing the guy who got stranded, Mark Watney. Um, where is he? Yeah, Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon. Uh, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about Matt Damon. uh, yeah, Mark Watney. Uh, if you've read the book, you'll know, like I said, the whole pull of his character is that Mark is just he's a real smart ass. Everything is kind of like what's the word? Deadpan snarker kind of ha ha ha. And he pokes fun at NASA, the planet himself, his equipment that he has to work with. You know, every other word of his mouth is basically a cut down to whatever situation he's dealing with. And That's, I guess, the humanizing trait that really pulls people in for this book, or hopefully what'll be the movie whenever it gets released here. Um, but yeah, Matt Damon. I'm not familiar with too many other characters. They're, like I said, actors who are portraying the characters. Let's see. Let's see, Donald Glover. I'm familiar with him. See, what character is he playing though? He's playing Rich Purnell. I'm trying to remember him from the book. I thought Rich Purnell from the book was a Indian fellow, although I guess Glover could pull off an Indian guy. Uh, Jeff Daniels, of course, being Teddy Sanders. I'm trying to remember Teddy Sanders. I think Teddy was a guy who got angry all the time and yelled at Rich Purnell. Or it was there's actually like two different Indian characters. Rich Purnell's one of them. Let's see. Venkat Pakur. Let me look at him real quick here. And I'm not familiar with the guy who's going to be playing Kapoor, but yeah, if I recall in the story, like I said, Jeff Daniels' character Teddy Sanders is going to yell a whole lot and curse at both Venkat Kapoor and where's the other guy? Rich Purnell. Unless Rich is one of the guys in the rocket. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but like I said, I'm pretty sure Teddy's gonna yell at a lot of folks. But let me get back on topic here. Back to Mark Watney. Um, it's a very 20 minutes into the future kind of book, or like I said, audio book if you listen to it. Um, all the technology that's talked about or discussed is either stuff that we have now or stuff that we're currently developing. So it's nothing that's outlandishly kind of crazy like the movie Interstellar was. Um, and like I said, I listened to the book. It's a very like I said, stick character-driven story. So it will draw you in if you listen to it. And I'm hoping this movie delivers uh, on the thrills and, like I said, the compelling character. So Matt Damon's gonna really have to pull it out here to really live up to the book. The only other uh, book to movie transition that I've really had like a close look at was the Harry Potter series. And like I said, for that movie, for that book, they didn't really stray that far from the source material. So I'm kind of curious how far they are going to stray from the source material for The Martian. I know in one point in the trailer, they where is it? They don't actually show them discovering Watney until he activates a rover, whereas in the book, I believe they actually spot him a lot sooner. They don't have proof, like positive that he's alive, but they see him and they see him moving around. So they at least have an idea that he's alive and he's on Mars before he gets to the rover, versus when, like I said, what it looks like in the movie where they don't actually see him until he gets to the rover, which I'm sure they can explain away to make the plots move a little bit faster in the movie. And that's another thing I'm worried about. I'm worried they're going to cut out parts of the plot, but since the movie takes place almost over the span of 400 something days, I'm sure they're not going to go over each individual day. Not that the book did either, but like I said, they're going to have to cut corners somewhere. I'm just hoping they don't cut anything that's really good. 'Cause like I said, there's a lot of good parts to the book. And that about covers all that. Let's see how I'm doing on time here. Right at half an hour, which is good. The original stream I had done had came in right about half an hour, which was good for the amount of content I had kind of compiled together. Um, One thing I'll go probably touch back on is Jurassic Park here in a little bit, which I was going to go on a whole tirade, but I forgot to. But I'll get back to that here in a bit. Um, Video game wise, I've not been playing that many video games as of late, which I feel a little bit bad about. Everything's mostly been on my mobile cell phone. A lot of strategy games, a lot of puzzle games that I can just pick up, play for a few minutes, and then go back to work. Kind of stuff that allows me to do research in my spare time for whatever stuff. Um, I was playing a bit of Terraria recently. If you're not familiar with Terraria, it's kind of like a 2D Minecraft, although I don't like that title or explanation because um, it's really nothing. It's nothing like Minecraft, but to give anyone any kind of reliable frame of reference, that's what I really have to say. It's like Minecraft. Let me close this down. Get that off the screen for you. And there we go. See here. I think I can play the trailer for you, although I'm pretty sure that'll kill the bandwidth. All right, a second. Hold on. Let's pull up the trailer right now. There we go. I'll get this pulled up here in just a second. More than likely, this will completely kill my bandwidth. Wow. Yikes. Yeah, like I said, my bandwidth is completely dead. It looks like. So, um, luckily I am recording this locally as well. So if any of this does cut out or get missed in the mainstream, I'll just upload the remnants to YouTube. But let me go ahead. I'm gonna try and capture this here. I'll have the trailer up momentarily. This is what I get for. There we go. There we are. All right. I'm gonna try to play the trailer, and like I said, it's probably not gonna work on the stream. So if you're watching this live, it'll probably just be a black screen. But I'm gonna try, and I said, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's maximize this bad boy. So yeah, it's a very, very particular art style, very colorful. You see, they're gonna jump the shark here in a second, I think, or did they already? There we go. Yeah, although I think my window, it was a little bit gimped there, but I was more concerned about my bandwidth just completely dying out. Let me back up here. Nope, don't want to watch that. Go back. But yeah, if you wanna check out the website, it's terraria.org. Um, a very colorful game, very lively game, both sound design wise and uh, gameplay wise. All kinds of weapons, all kinds of tools, all kinds of building mechanics. If you can imagine it, you can pretty much put it together. Um, I was on a server for a little while until I got bored and and focused on my new job, which I'll talk about also here in a little bit. Um, if you want to get it right now, I think it's pennies on the dollar for the Steam sale. Like I want to say like maybe $2. So if you don't already have it, which most people, if you own Steam, you probably do, but if you don't, now would be a good time to buy it. There's a lot of content for the price tag it comes with, so I'd highly recommend giving it a try. But let's see. Yeah, but yeah, check it out. It's a decent exploration slash Metroidvania slash build Minecraft kind of styled game. Let's see. But yeah, another issue I've come across video game wise is I don't know what I want to play. I played a bit of Phantasy Star Online 2. I played a bit of Final Fantasy 14, a bit of World of Tanks, and a couple of other games on my backlog. I tried a bit of Shadowrun Dragonfall also, but no matter what I play, I don't seem to have the same passion I used to. I think it's partially because I haven't had any work in a while, so I don't get to feel that release of getting off work and playing a game versus when you just play video games for a while, and there's no, it's just, I guess it's kind of akin to eating nothing but candy. Your fun sense gets dulled down over time. But another thing about, I guess, my video game, my hunger for video games is I don't see anything on the horizon that particularly excites me. And this is even after watching the E3 tech demos that just came out over the past couple days. Um, I just I'm not excited for video games the way I used to be, and part of that comes with age. Uh, it's just I'm not a kid anymore. Another part of it is I've learned from my favorite reviewers, one of my favorites, Yahtzee, um, wisely said, if you expect everything to be shit, then you're never going to be disappointed. And if you do expect everything to be shit, when something actually isn't not shit, it'll actually be relatively surprising. You'll be swept off your feet, so to speak. So, um, in almost every occasion, I reserve I hold out my reservations, that the game will actually be good. I'll count on it not being good. So when I actually play the game, I'll be pleasantly surprised, uh, at best, and I'll feel satisfactory at worst. Like, yep, I thought so, you know. But yeah, that's just depressing. My hobby, my pastime. I don't have the same passion I used to for it. But now I want to go back to one thing, particularly regarding Jurassic World. Um, I'm completely, totally convinced Jurassic World has already happened, or Jurassic Park, however you want to phrase it. Uh, Seriously, if I were a genetics biologist person, and I had spent 8 years or more of my life, learning to decode the DNA strands, mapping the genome, that sort of jazz, and some rich kind of, you know, uh, philanthropian kind of Richard Hammond kind of guy comes up to me. He's like, "Well, I have a science facility off the coast of Cuba, and I need some scientists to help me clone dinosaurs." I would be all over that in an instant. You know, yeah, call me an Ayn Rand kind of guy, but I would want to make dinosaurs, build robots, make robot dinosaurs, make dinosaurs fight robot dinosaurs, the whole gambit. You know, the sky is the limit. And that's if I had spent that much time in college becoming a geneticist, biologist, mechanicist, whatever the ist is, I would want to like do that the most that I could do. And if that was cloning dinosaurs, I would totally clone all the dinosaurs. I would clone the dinosaurs and make them fight each other. That's how I would do it. And like I said, that there it seems to me like that would have already happened. It seems to me like someone with my similar state of mind who is actually intelligent enough and versed enough in the art of science to pull it off would have, will have, has already done what I just said. They've made some dinosaurs, or at the very least dabbled in making dinosaurs. But that's my rant. That's my Jurassic Park rant. Yeah, that's right. robot dinosaurs versus regular dinosaurs in space on the secret moon base where we're making dinosaurs right now. Whew. But yeah, that's about all I have for that. Um, I guess my last bit, which I'll get into here, is my new job, which I'm pleased with. I'm happy. I'm happy that my new job is a job that I will find fulfilling, hopefully. For the sake of my company's security and so forth, I can't really disclose too many details about what I'm doing, but suffice it to say, it's a job where I'm helping our nation's heroes, um, helping them get back on their feet in one way or the other. So it's going to be a very fulfilling job for me, I think, and I get paid a pretty penny. It'll be the most money I've made for a sit down air conditioning job I've ever done. Let me close out my internet window. There we go. Um, and I'm glad, like I said, it's a job where I can help people. I'm equally glad it's a job where I can sit down in air conditioning, because I have a number of friends who don't have that same uh, they don't have that same privilege. I have a lot of friends who literally break their backs every day trying to meet quotas that they can't come close to meeting. My heart goes out to them. You know who you are. The sweat of your brow is is constantly running. But and like I said, it's a good job. I had some training today, and based on the training, I think I should not have too much trouble with this job. So I'm amped up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start working and helping others. Welp, that's about it. 46 minutes, yeah. That's a bit long for the amount of content I had, but I'm always happy to punch out a little bit more when I can. Tonight was supposed to be a video game streaming night, but I do have work tomorrow, so I don't think I'll stream video games tonight. And also on that subject, uh, my internet seems to be a bit spotty. Now, this may be just YouTube. It may be my router, which I may need to replace. It may just be the service that I have that I've been needing to upgrade for a long time. 1 megabyte upload speed does not make a good streaming internet. So, after I review this beautiful bean footage, um, um, I'll have to see how many bits of my video actually came through versus how many frames I dropped. What's more than likely going to happen is I'll have to upload my locally recorded copy of tonight's stream. Unlike the previous stream, however, I'm figuring this one will actually be worth listening to. The previous one had sound errors, glitches, and so forth. I didn't feel like redoing that stream at that time. I was like, I gotta take a break. I gotta get ready for my new job. So I put it on the back burner. Lazy, you know. But I'm glad that I finally got this up and going. And hopefully this will get my momentum together, and I'll have another stream up together. Hopefully this coming Thursday as well. But I said I'll be working on that tomorrow and on the day tomorrow as well. Well, day after tomorrow, I should say. But that about covers everything. Everything on my show notes. Yep. Well, if you're still listening, again, thanks for listening. Uh, press all the buttons, all the likes, the subscribes. You know, if you're not sure about a button, press it as well. I'm sure it won't do too much harm. Uh, thanks again for listening to the Superior stream. I'll hopefully be able to punch out more and more content as the month goes on, as I get acclimated to my new job, as I maybe upgrade my internet, as I figure out what the heck is going on with my stream, so on and so forth. Have a good night, folks. Thanks for watching.